And it looks like we're live now.
All right. Well, welcome everyone who is here and everyone who comes. I want to first give the disclaimer, and that is that this is a general discussion about mental and emotional health. It is not to be interpreted as a specific advice in a specific situation. Every situation can be different, and this is not meant to replace psychiatry or medical doctors. Just wanted to put that out there because I have to legally. And now, welcome, Tricia. I'm so honored to have you here, and I'm thrilled to introduce you and what you do to our listening audience, as well as those who will be hearing long after we have this interview. Tricia is a heart-centered mindset coach, and she's guiding others to get out of their head and into their hearts to cultivate greater peace and harmony in life. And she's also an heart-centered intuitive coach, certified in HeartMath. She's a HeartMath mentor, and her mission is to reignite humanity by helping people find peace and harmony within themselves by connecting with their heart. Her passion is helping others resolve inner conflict, realign to their values, and renew their spirit to live their truest life. I love this, Tricia, and I can't wait to hear from you. Can you tell us a little bit about your background and how you came to this heart-centered and to be a heart-centered intuitive coach? Thank you.
Thank you, Kimberly. It's really great to be here and everyone who's listening. So I appreciate all of you. I think the short version is I found myself in a place several years ago with severe depression and diagnosed with a borderline autoimmune disorder. I was in a very unhappy marriage, and I noticed I was in a fairly toxic corporate environment. So I think what I realized is that my soul wanted something different, and I was really out of alignment with what my soul was really desiring. So as it happens, my marriage ended, my corporate career ended, all within about a 6-month span of time.
Wow. And, there's so many people out there listening that I'm sure can resonate and relate to what you're saying here. Yeah. So they can't wait to hear how you came through that.
Right.
Wow.
Yeah. And, it was really tough on my ego, right? Really super tough on my ego.
What stops most of us.
Right.
Or causes the suffering and the pain.
Right. Yeah. There was, definitely my ego didn't want it to end, right? Because it was comfortable. It was what I knew. There was certainty in it. And yet my soul's desire was, I knew I needed to do something different. So yeah, that contrast, right? The polarity of those two things.
Within us.
Yeah, within us. And so as I really took the time and got through my divorce and left my corporate career, and I really spent quite a bit of time in a healing journey, really looking out for, what are some of my old emotional wounds, and really trying to work through them and understanding, why I was in such depression and why how this, autoimmune disorder was showing up in my body because of my emotional wounds and feelings. And so as I went through this journey, I found, a variety of different therapists and healers. I utilized a biofield energy healer. I used hypnotherapy. I did do some EMDR with a traditional therapist. And then what I realized is that when I found HeartMath, it was a real game changer for me. And so as I embraced that, I was also doing some business coaching. I'm still business coaching as well. And just because I had built a small business with my ex-husband, and so I knew how to coach and consult for 20 years in that space, in that small business space. So I started there for my new career, my new chapter, as I was doing all of this inner work and inner healing. And as I became HeartMath certified and found positiveintelligence.com, which is really understanding our saboteurs, the two married each other really, really well because they're based on the same scientific background.
Yes.
I just really felt called to want to support others in their transformations. And that's how I ended up as a heart-centered mindset coach.
That is awesome. That is just amazing to go through such traumatic experiences in a short period of time. And then realizing the tug of war within you between your soul and your ego, and then finding a way to bring peace to them both and bring them in alignment together and find a fulfilling career.
Yes.
And to contribute to the world. That's Dharma. Your Dharma. That's awesome. And do you believe that is true? I mean, that could be true for anyone who desires it.
Yes. Yeah. I think, and I think that's what we're seeing in the world right now. We're seeing a lot of burnout. We're seeing a lot of people leaving their jobs.
Yeah.
Right. When I was going through my depression, I did a lot of research, and what I found was the number one cause for depression is isolation, feeling isolated. You could be around a lot of people, but you still feel really isolated because we so desire deep connection.
Yes. Deep connection.
Deep, right?
Yeah.
Deep connection. And so in my journey, I set the intention of creating my soul tribe. Like, I wanted to be around more and more people that I could deeply connect with in any conversation, whether it was in a working conversation or a personal conversation. I wanted to connect deeply with people, right? And like, even you and I just met just a few weeks ago, and at a happy hour event, and I wanted to get to know you personally and create that deeper connection, because it's so important to have that in our lives.
Yes. Well, I think that as we evolve individually, we have more space for that. We have the space for that. And of course, anytime we got space, we want to put something in it. But the more enlightened and evolved we are, the more we want meaningful things in that place.
Yes.
That's that deep connection that we long for. But not everyone's there. And so my question is for you, my next question is, what was your why that kept you focused and on your healing? Your why?
Yeah, I think in this case, my top value is personal growth, spiritual and personal growth. So
we share that.
Right? And so my why is really around, how do I continue to grow as a human being? And my personal vision is, I am this incredibly beautiful soul in a human body having a human experience. And therefore, we are here to learn from contrast and polarity. So what can I learn about myself so that I can really be incredibly conscious about my behaviors, about my emotions, and really noticing where my ego wants one thing and yet my soul wants something else. And ultimately, to stop my own suffering.
Yes, that is such a beautiful why, and a serving, a why that serves you and others.
Right, because I think the key here is, as we do our own inner work, it has this beautiful ripple effect with the people that you engage with and that you work with, you talk to. And so for me, my why is exactly like you said. I just want to reignite humanity, create those deeper connections, because I wanted more peace and harmony in my life, which I now have. And really supporting others and creating greater peace and harmony in their life as well.
That is so beautiful. Thank you for sharing that. I was trying to see if people were listening in, and there's a play on there, and then it stopped. Well, it's for me to play it. I don't want to play it because I don't want it to interfere with what we're doing. So I'll just kind of keep my eye on that.
Sounds good.
And but my what I really am curious for everyone to know from you is, what do you feel people suffering from mental and or emotional challenges need to know?
Well, first of all, they're not alone.
Yes.
Yeah, they're not alone. They might feel alone. They might feel very isolated. And I know exactly what that feels like. And sometimes we do have to go through the isolation to really do some deep inner work and reflection and contemplation. But the key is to reach out and ask for support.
Our recording was playing all along. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, that's okay. Yeah, that's all right. So, why do people, what do people need to know about their suffering of mental and emotional challenges is really knowing they're not alone and seeking support, right? Like we all seek support in any stage that we're at. And the more that you can have a greater support system, whether it's paid or not paid, right? Like I've paid for support in my own healing journey. I've had my own coaches and therapists and healers, and then finding other things practical tools that work for me. So it's just knowing that you are so not alone, even though we all feel that, especially
Right.
the pandemic, right? Like
Right.
we were purposely isolated, which did not help this situation, which is why depression is skyrocketing.
Yes. Yes. I agree 100,000%. The alone factor is huge. People are feeling isolated, and that is why I wanted to do this podcast, to let people know you're not alone, even though it feels that way. And we just want to open that, break that concept, that thought process that you're not alone by any means, and there is help. And
Yeah,
that's what this is about.
yeah.
I created a group for anyone listening to join in on the conversation or converse with us, so that you're really, truly not alone. You're not just listening to something that you can't interact with. And that was one of the other reasons that I wanted to make this live, so that we can actually interact with you here and now. But that it doesn't end with the end of this interview. It will continue because of the group that you can join. And so, let's see here. I'm just going to put that. I will put the link to the group in the chat, so that anyone interested can click on it. And Tricia, why would someone come to you? In other words, what would they hope to achieve by working with you?
Yeah, thank you for that question. I typically work with highly sensitive women who have really covered up their heart, because the world can be disheartening at times, right? So we cover up our heart and we put a wall up, and we often put a mask on to show up as what we think others want us to be. And really what I try to do is help people unmask and uncover, identify, what are their self-doubts, or what are they self-sabotaging in, so that they can really see their heart, their essence, their inner
Yes.
child for who they really are, and identify those strengths for them to be able to stand in their power, speak their truth, and create the boundaries that they need in order for them to show up authentically and then really align to their personal values, really identifying what those are so that they can take action towards creating the life they desire and to have more peace and harmony in their life.
That sounds so powerful. And I imagine it is. Can you give us an example of one of a client's experience? No names needed, but just
Yep, absolutely. Yeah, I have a client currently who she came to me. She was having a lot of anxiety, and she knew she was she would be going through a lot of life changes. She wanted to move back home to a different state, and which means that she'd have to find a new job, find a house, and she had never purchased a house before. So she really wanted some support, knowing that she had some anxiety and fears around that. And this is something that she had been wanting for like 15 years.
Wow.
So as I started working with her, I had her complete the free saboteur assessment from positiveintelligence.com, because underneath our saboteurs are our greatest strengths, right? And so hers was hypervigilance, which was, she was really vigilant and aware of any dangers. But when you overutilize that strength, you create a massive amount of anxiety for yourself, because it's all the what if this and what if this happens. And so I really helped her to see what danger was real and what she was creating in her mind to help her calm her system, and utilizing HeartMath as well. And so I've been working with her for several months now, and she purchased her home.
Wow.
And so she's purchased her home, and she told me, she's like, I couldn't have done this without support. And now she's going to have to give notice for her job and move. So we're working through those things. But here's the key, like, she has this really huge, compassionate heart. And what I explained to her is, we need that in this world right now. We need her to show up authentically with this beautiful, gorgeous heart of hers, so that she can share her compassion. And so we started with her compassion for herself first. Yes. And then as she starts radiating that out, she emails me all the time. She's like, oh my gosh, this person was so stressed out, and I really helped them to calm down, and it felt so amazing and so good. So really what I've noticed with her is this beautiful transformation of her being able to open her heart, stand in her power, ask for what she wants, and be able to understand all the different triggers, and helping her through those moments of stress with more calm and ease.
That is a beautiful story, and I can just imagine that multiplied. Thank you. Yes, that just makes such a big difference. And for those out there listening, just not sure where to go, what to do, not even sure if that, they're thinking they're so far removed that they can't imagine that being true for them. What do you have any tips for them?
Yeah, the basic HeartMath technique is really around breathing a little slower, breathing a little deeper, and really noticing that in your heart space, and feeling into a regenerative feeling, like calm or care or ease, care for someone you love. And when you breathe a little slower and breathe a little deeper and really feel that into your heart space, in those moments of stress and in our daily, just throughout your daily life, it really helps to calm the nervous system, because when you're in those moments of stress or high anxiety, or even sadness or grief or apathy, though that releases cortisol in your system, which is the stress hormone. So when you can really create the sensation of calm or ease, patience, joy even, it releases DHEA, which is the love hormone, instead of the stress hormone, which counteracts the stress hormone. So breathing is really, really powerful to help you calm your nervous system.
Wow.
And I would say if you're going to take anything away, just breathe a little slower and deeper on a consistent, more regular basis.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing that. Would you give us, for those who are maybe listening and even who are listening later, can you take us through a demonstration of how to do that?
Yeah. And what I suggest is you can, when you do your breathing in, if you just need a place to start, just a count of 4 in and a count of 4 out, just to make it really super simple. And you can do this with your eyes open or your eyes closed. You can do this anywhere. And if you're in a place where you feel comfortable, you can always put your hand on your heart, because we've got meridians in our hand, and it really connects the energy from our hand to our heart. So if you focus your attention in the area of the heart, imagine your breath as flowing in and out of your heart or chest area, breathing a little slower and deeper than usual. Find an easy rhythm that's comfortable. As you continue heart-focused breathing, make a sincere attempt to experience a regenerative feeling, such as appreciation or care for someone or something in your life. And then take one more deep breath in and out. And feel free to come back into this space.
Thank you so much for that. I just can see thousands of people out there. That's my vision and putting that out there in the universe. Thousands of people following along with you in that exercise and connecting the heart and the mind to receive that inner peace that it just transcends everything else and brings a calm. And as you said, that's another way of exchanging pain for love.
Yes. Yeah, exactly. Right. So in that moment, in those moments, when you feel you're suffering or you're triggered or you're just feeling stressed, and I started doing this when I was driving and when I was in line at the grocery store, like in those long lines.
Wow. Just don't close your eyes while you're driving.
Right. Yeah, not exactly. Eyes open while you're driving. Even, eyes open, when you're, standing in line. And sometimes I would even shut them briefly for just a couple of minutes and just really notice the calming effect. And what's really fascinating about this, because I'm really getting into more energy work, is when we get into a space of radiating love, we have a frequency. Our heart has this beautiful frequency that radiates out, right? So, and I think we all know this, like you can walk into a room.
I don't think we all know it, but maybe somewhere we may know it, but yes, absolutely.
Well, I mean, and so as an example, you can walk into a room and you can just feel like this like negative energy. I mean, I think a lot of people
do. Yeah. Right?
So you notice this kind of negative energy when you walk into a room, you're like, what happened here? This feels weird. And the same is true when you're in that space of love, when there's a lot of care and concern. So what's really fascinating is when you're standing in line and you have a lot of people who might be agitated or something like that, and when you can do that calming exercise and feel into a space of love and radiate that outward to other people, you will actually notice people calming down.
You have changed the energy of your environment exponentially out beyond yourself. That is so beautiful. Ah, that is so wonderful. I mean, because how many times do people complain about whatever is going on around them? And now that complaint can be replaced with making a positive impact, just changing that by creating a powerful high vibration inside and then expanding that.
Yeah, I would love the listeners to play with that and experiment with that and see how it changes when they're with other people. And that's it. That's all you got to do is just breathe, feel in that sensation, and then just have an intention of radiating that love out and just notice what happens. And it might be really subtle, but just play with that.
Yes, yes. I love this because as I was promoting this, I said, come and listen. You'll hear things you never heard before. And just that is so powerful and yet so easy. Just the awareness, the knowledge that I can do this and it can make all the difference.
Yeah, it can make a difference.
So powerful. Well, I just want to really thank you. Thank you. I can't even thank you enough for sharing this. And I trust that it's getting out there. And if it isn't at this moment, it will be. And so I'm going to just want to see if there's anyone who is with us who is commenting or who has a question. Let's see here. Question. Okay, so it's being recorded. That's just a play. But I don't see any comments yet. Okay.
Yeah, and if anybody has questions, later on, if they watch this at a later point in time, they can find me at soulbusinessadvisor.com or even on my Instagram, Soul Business Advisor. I'm not on Facebook for my business. I am just there on it's my personal page on Facebook, but they can also find me on LinkedIn under Tricia Livermore as well.
I have that information. I'm going to post it.
Excellent. Yeah. And
here it is here. So this is the link. I have this. Okay. And actually, I'm going to put it in the chat that's on Facebook because that's where this is being broadcast. Okay.
Yeah. And I do free discovery calls. So if they go to my website and book a consultation, it's totally free. Get to know, have any questions, or if they do their self-saboteur assessment and just, and even just want to do a free review on that, I'm happy to have that conversation. So
that's so wonderful. I think that is an excellent offer for people to just find out, how can I be helped? How can I, change from this state that's not serving me, that doesn't feel good, to something wonderful. That's so wonderful.
Yeah.
Excuse me. I just can imagine, as you mentioned, so many people from COVID, from the isolation, from not being able to get together with their friends or family, and even losing people through this. And so there's so much pain out there that, some of it we may not even be able to imagine, but even still, there is hope for every single one. So if you are suffering and you just think that there's no hope, change that thought. There is hope. And I'm grateful for Tricia coming here and sharing some ways for that, some practical, easy to practice ways for that, and more. That's just the tip of the iceberg available to you. So know there is not just hope, but great hope, grand hope. You experience what you experience for a reason, to bring you to where you are now, where you're ready to make a change, because we all know that the change won't happen until the pain to stay that same is greater than the pain to change. And we're here to tell you that the pain to change is nothing. It's all good, right? It's all good. I mean, how much pain was it to put your hands on your heart and to close your eyes and just feel something good, something positive? Go back to gratitude. You know what? I have a lot of people that have said, oh, I can't think of anything good. Well, let me just give you something. Go like this. You did that? Okay, you breathed. That's powerful. That's something to be grateful for. You have breath in your body. That means that your life has a purpose. It means that you're here for a reason. And it means that you are alive, you're living, your cells, you've got 73 trillion cells in your body that are working. They're at work. They're keeping you alive. So feel gratitude for those 73 trillion cells that are serving you. And they want to do more. They want to thrive. They want to increase their vibration. And so you have much goodness ahead of you, for sure. And
yeah, well said, Kimberly. Well said.
So I was thinking that we would have this time to answer questions. And so since I don't see any here, what are some of the questions that a lot of your clients come to you with that that you might be able to, share with our audience?
Yeah,
Some of their struggles, some of the things that keep them from coming to you. That's like finally when they get there, they're going, wow, I wish I had, I either known about you before or had come to you even though I knew about you and people were telling me to come to you, but what kept me,
Yeah, I think a lot of times what keeps people from seeking support and help is this feeling of lack of worth or a lack of self-esteem, a lack of their own personal value, right?
Yes.
So, and trust me, I know exactly what that feels like. I know exactly what that feels like to not feel worthy. And something I heard a while ago that I think really is very valuable is we are born worthy.
Amen.
We are born worthy of love. We don't have to do anything. There's nothing we have to accomplish, right? We are just simply born worthy. And when
birthright.
It is our birthright, right? Like we don't have to accomplish anything. And so we have been conditioned to believe that our worthiness is correlated with accomplishments, and that is absolutely not the case.
Or
right?
something, accepting a savior or, just so many things. Yeah, this was our birthright. That's the good news. We were born worthy and for a powerful purpose. And everything we need for that purpose is in us.
Yeah. And and I think and I still struggle with this on occasion. And I think a lot of people do is, what is my innate gifts? What is my natural essence of who I am? What is my innate gift that I do without even thinking about it? And here's the thing, we're not meant to live this life alone, which is why there's 8 billion of us on this planet, or 7. We're not meant to do this alone, right? So I needed somebody to reflect back to me what they feel was my innate gift, right? And
Yeah, because
and
it's blind
hear
spot
that,
to us.
right? So you have to hear that from other people. And so when you're ready, right? When you're ready to hear that, when you're ready to know that you want something different in your life, that you want to stop the suffering that you're creating a lot of times in your own mind. And that's the ego, right? The ego wants to keep us safe, which means keep us in exactly the same place that we were.
Yep.
But our soul
Paradigm.
wants something different, right? So a lot of times what holds people back from seeking out support is that self-doubt, that self-sabotage of not thinking they're worthy. And then when they hear something, one little thing, they're like, oh, wait a minute. This is about my growth. This is about me living the life I want to live. And what can I do? What are my options, right? Like, what are my options for me to identify a way in order to make a small change towards the life I want? And that's it. That's all we got to do, is just a tiny little change sometimes, or a big one like I did, but whatever works for people.
Exactly. It could just be a little tweak, or it could be a whirlwind turn around. And it's just like, all of us have some baggage. And actually, a lot of people think that baggage is something that needs to be thrown out. Well, hold on a second here. There are some gifts in there.
There's a lot of
gifts. There are some gifts in there. So we need to, treasure hunt and find the gifts before we throw anything. And we'll probably find we don't need to throw anything out, except the pain will just dissipate.
Yeah. And, I love that you said that, right? In positiveintelligence.com, Shirzad talks a lot about, the challenges that we go through, the wounds or even the traumas, small or big. There are gifts in those, right? There are gifts in those. And so, when I experienced what I felt was rejection from my marriage, rejection from corporate America, rejection from a close relationship I had outside of those two things, I felt wholeheartedly rejected. And the gift in that was I was seeking love and support and recognition and approval and acceptance from other people my entire life. And what I had to do was give it to myself.
Hallelujah. Now you just said something very powerful. I just want that to sit on people. The love and acceptance and admiration that we're looking to receive from others, and upset that we're not getting it, has to come from ourselves first.
Yeah, it does.
First.
Yes, it does.
Then it will come from others. Did you guys hear that? That is, that's gold. That's the gold.
And it's a journey, right? Like, so I want people to understand it's a journey. It's not like, and some people can have this huge transformational moment and have an aha moment, and they are on that train and never look back. I was not necessarily one of those people. It was a journey of self-reflection over time, right? It's this moment of I'm raise my vibration, I'm loving myself, everything is great, and then something happens and I step back, right? I step back into the old automatic pattern that I had been living for all my life, because that's how our brains are wired, is it goes back to our automatic responses. So you have to create new habits. You have to create a new habit of loving yourself, a new habit of celebrating your worth, a new habit of really having enjoyment and care and concern and compassion for yourself. So it's a journey. It is a journey, and everybody's process and their journey is absolutely unique to them.
I thank you for saying that, because that, I believe, is true for the majority.
Yes.
We go like this. Some of us go up, faster, but some of us go up like this. It's a gradual going up. We keep going around those same things, but we're going up, but it's just not,
Yeah. And for the recovering perfectionist like me, right? I always thought it was I would be better or happier when I got here, right? Like it felt like a destination point because that's what we've been conditioned to believe. Like you do all this work and you get to the end and everything's beautiful and great and happy and wonderful. And I had to give myself permission and acceptance that it's the journey, it's
It
the
is a
uncover,
journey.
it's the
Mm,
lesson you're learning in those moments that is the gold as to what you called, right? And
yeah.
really acknowledging there's nothing broken within me. I don't need to be fixed, right? I'm
Hallelujah.
not broken.
Yes.
I am
Yes.
uncovering all the layers of all the crap that I've put on myself over the years to get back to my inner child essence.
So beautiful. So beautifully said. And I am grateful that people are hearing this. That was the reason that I wanted to do this, because people need to hear that there's nothing wrong with you. Nothing wrong with you. In fact, where you are right now, everything that's happened in the past has brought you here.
Yep.
And I believe globally, corporately, we are in now the mode of healing.
Yes.
People who are hurting, they're hurting others. If someone hurts you, no, that person is acting from their own pain.
Yep.
But one who is healed heals others. Just like you said, that vibration that we give out, that we can send that. We can send healing. And, it may take a while. It just depends on their journey. Everybody's journey is different. And one of the things that I'm very adamant about is we have to take judgment of people, and starting with ourselves, out of our life. It has no place. Reason is we don't have enough knowledge. We don't have the authority to judge us. We didn't create us. So we don't know our purpose. Now, if you do know your purpose or someone's purpose, then you would know better not to judge them because it's all a part of their purpose.
Yeah, and I would love to add to that. And I have shifted my perspective about our purpose because I feel like there's a lot of people like, I don't know my purpose. But when we really think about it, isn't our purpose simply to love ourselves?
And grow in that.
Yeah, and the
grow
path
in
that you take, right? The path that you take will take you on your unique journey, your unique path. Your path is going to look different than everybody else's. But if that's really the case, like if all we have to do, if our sole purpose is remembering to love ourselves, it would shift that judgment, right? Because we would no
Yes.
longer judge ourselves.
Yes.
Therefore, we would no longer judge others, right?
Yes.
You can see that somebody else is in their own suffering, but it's in their own journey. It's in their own time. There's no judgment around.
No judgment. I love that. And you know what? As you said that, it brought back to my mind that, one of the ways that, or the way I believe that we grow in loving ourselves is recognizing that what we see in others, in the world, in everything that we see is a reflection of what's in us. And so what we see that we love, no, that's in us too. So we can appreciate it in us. What we see in others that doesn't sit well with us, that's an opportunity to love that part of us because it is in us. No matter how we think, no way, it is.
Yeah.
It is. And isn't that beautiful? We're designed that way to grow into loving ourselves, accepting ourselves unconditionally through our life experiences, learning to love and appreciate every aspect of what's in us and what's outside of us.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think, that what just came to my mind as you were talking about is our shadow self, right? Like, so oftentimes we have shame or guilt, right? From our shadow self, something that has happened that we feel has that lower energy and we haven't necessarily healed it. Or sometimes we, our ego self, that shadow self, wants something different, right, than our soul self. Really, acknowledging that, right? Accepting that whatever those emotions are, whatever that is, whatever that feeling is, really lean into that and see what's underneath that.
Yes.
What is it that you're really seeking underneath that? And giving yourself permission to look at it. Because the more we look at that shadow self, that ego side, and hold its hand and give it a hug and let that side of ourselves know that it's okay, that whatever we're feeling in those moments can really help to heal through that process.
I am feeling just chills up and down me because that is so true. And this is where the support of a coach comes in. This is what Tricia does, and myself, and there are others. Thank God he sent a whole army of these coaches to support us, to support you in this journey. I mean, they didn't even exist 5 years ago. And now here we are, ready to serve, to help you with this evolution, this aspect of our beingness and our journey. And the universe just is perfect to provide that. And so, know that you have support. Tricia is wonderful. I highly encourage you to reach out to her and just go. You have something in you, in your heart, that's going to gravitate you towards a particular person.
Yes.
So trust that.
Yes. I was just going to add to that. I'm so glad we're having these ESP moments that we're, telepathically we're on the same page, because that's exactly what I was going to say is, really notice who you resonate with. And it may not be me, and that's okay. Like, I know that I will only attract the people that resonate with what I have to say. And that's perfectly good for both of us, right? Notice for yourself when you come across different people, as you seek support and guidance, how's it feeling in your heart space? Is that the person you really want to work with? Does it resonate with you? Or maybe you need to meet with them and have a conversation with them first, and then notice it. And I think that's the key to, creating that soul tribe support, is really following your heart's desire. So whatever's resonating with you is really the greatest choice that you can make in that.
Yes. And there's no shortage of anything. Whatever we need is going to be available to us. And so trusting that there is enough people that need this. For Trish, for myself, and all of the other coaches who are out there, our vibration that goes out is going to attract those that we need to work with and that need to work with us.
Yeah.
I love this. I love that we don't have to worry about competition.
No.
There's no competition. We're here. And there's, there could be, for every single coach that is available today, if everyone were to follow their heart to their healing and their support guru, for lack of a better word, I'll just say that, or coach, everyone would have a whole line of people that would last their lifetime. Or their coaching career. So there's we just want you to know you have support, and all you have to do is reach out. All you have to do is really desire it in your heart and follow the steps. I heard a quote this morning from Arthur Ashe that said, "Start where you are with what you have, taking the action that you can take." And from there, I think I said that right. I could have misquoted
Yeah,
it.
that's beautiful. The way you said it is beautiful.
Yeah, I thank you. And just know that you are not alone, that there is hope, and it's easy. It's easy. It's not difficult. So the pain to stay the same is definitely greater than the pain to change. And so now is the time for that change.
Mm.
And if you have any last words that you would like to share with our audience.
Yeah, and I want to say thank you, Kimberly, for creating this space for you and I to have this conversation and share it with whoever resonates with it. So I think, the more that we have different avenues to hear different things, I think is incredibly valuable for all of our healing. I think we're in a place in the world where we need greater compassion for ourselves and for others. So, if I resonated with you and you'd like to reach out to me, please, book a free discovery call on my website, Soul Business Advisor, or you can email me, Tricia at Soul Business Advisor.
Her link is in the chat here. Now, is this it? It says https://ovou.me/Tricia Livermore. Is that it?
That's my business card. That'll take them a link. That'll take a link. That's a link to my website and on all of my information. So
okay.
Otherwise it's just soulbusinessadvisor.com.
Soulbusinessadvisor.com. I'll put that in there too.
Yeah, that would be great. And then somebody can book a call with me, or they can email me if they have any questions. You can DM me on Instagram or LinkedIn. Follow me on either of those. I'm like I said, I am here. I wanted a more meaningful life. And this is the way that I find meaning and purpose in my life, is to serve others in a way that I know exactly what it feels like to be in that state of depression and go through a major transformation. And I love to meet people exactly where they're at and helping them through their own transformation or changes, whatever that looks like for them.
I, again, am honored to have you here. And I just believe that so many people listening, you have touched them. And I want to encourage them to click on that link, set up that appointment, and have that opportunity, and just for the growth, for the healing, for the ignition of your life that you would love, and growing that self-love in you. And that really will turn that table from suffering, from anxiety, depression, and sadness, loneliness, grief, into love for yourself and for others. Thank you so much, Tricia, for sharing your story, sharing your work, sharing your knowledge and gifts with us today. And I just pray that people will reach out to you and get the help that they so deserve. It's their birthright.
Yes. Yeah, they are worthy. Yeah. Sending all my love and light to all of you. So thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you. And I will stop the recording. Okay. So I'll have to get someone to help me make that all pretty to post it there.
Yeah. And I think we're still live.
We're still live. Okay.